Today we're going to talk about one of my most controversial watercolor opinions, and that is that you don't have to use cotton paper. Now don't worry, I come with notes. First of all, there are lots of different types of watercolor paper. We have different finishes, we have different weights, and then we have different materials that they're made out of. Now the main two things that they're made of are going to be a cellulose-based paper or cotton paper. When I was first curious about watercolor, everything that I read, was taught, or heard said that using anything besides cotton watercolor paper was an absolute waste of time. Now, I personally have to disagree because I did go buy cotton watercolor paper, but the pad of paper was so expensive that I was too afraid to use it. Now, at this point in my watercolor explorations, I do use cotton paper. I'm a lot less afraid of it. I do think that there are some things that cotton paper is so much better for, but there are also some things that cellulose paper is great for too. So I want to talk you through the pros and cons of each type of paper so that you can make a more educated decision on whether that price point is worth it. Pros for cellulose paper is it's cheap, so you get low pressure practice and you can try again and again. I also think that cellulose paper provides more dramatic blooms. I personally find there to be more dramatic lifting. It's a lot easier and it stays a lot brighter and it's quicker to do. Now for cotton, the pros are specifically that you have more working time because cotton paper absorbs the water and the color in a more even way. And the other main pro for cotton paper is that there is a smoother application. It's a little bit more forgiving when you're trying to do larger applications of things. It's a little less prone to streaking. It's also less prone to back runs and some of those kind of textural differences. Now the cons of cellulose paper is that it is a faster drying time, which means you have more pressure to get things done quickly. It's also less forgiving with larger washes and can be more streaky. However, it does not mean it's impossible to do this on this paper. And the final main con I see with cellulose paper is that it's more prone to dark rings around the edges. Now everyone says cotton is perfect, but I have found some cons with it. Personally, I find lifting to be harder because it does really sink into the page, so you really have to work to get the color out. Now, that can be great if you want some really natural kind of gradual lifting effects, but it's going to make you work really hard to get dramatic lifting results. I also find that blooms are harder to create on cotton paper, and that's all to do with the fact that it's a much slower dry time, so it's a lot more forgiving and the blooms are going to be far less dramatic. And obviously the final con is that it is very expensive. Now my personal stance is that I recommend beginners, especially budget conscious beginners, start with something like Canson XL, which is not a cotton paper. If you can get good on a cheaper paper, by the time you're ready to buy cotton paper, you're going to be able to really see a big difference in the paper. Whereas if the first paper you use is an Arches paper and you know no difference, but you still don't have those skills, you're not going to have the context for understanding why it's actually worth the extra money of using cotton paper.